Peace, folks. It's Carmen D. Player, Cosmic Hype Woman of the Universe. H.Y.P.E, have your perspective elevated. So, Spirit's got a word. It's a good one. It's a good one. So, we've been bombarded with all kinds of images, articles, videos, memes, posts, all kinds of stuff that are really negative. Some of them are soul jarring, spirit jarring, filled with pain and tragedy, hurt. A lot of us feel it deeply in our spirit, to the point where we have to just take a break from social media completely, like just unplug. And sometimes we can feel really overwhelmed about what can we do. We look out into this big macro world and it's like there's so much pain. There are forest fires, there are people being assaulted and killed, there's injustices happening from left and right, our constitution is being threatened, our environment is suffering. There's just so much that it could be overwhelming. Like, where do we start? What can I do? Little old me, what can I do to make a big difference? I started to feel that. One of my dear friends started to feel that. And in that space, Spirit gave a word that I've always lived by as an educator and just as a spiritual person. Make a positive disturbance in the places you've been given. Make a positive disturbance in the places you've been given. We're all called to this. We're called to be the peace. We're called to be the love. We're called to be the compassion in our world. A lot of times we can look out into the world and say, oh, it's so big, the world, what can I do? But what makes up the world? What decides what's the world and what's not the world? Your world is as significant as the world out there. When we think about the massive waves in the ocean's made of water, those waves are made of molecules. Those molecules are vibrating with the energy and a vibrancy that's been compounded to create these large oceans that could either take you surfing or it could be a tsunami. But it's the molecules that make the wave. Your individual world is where you make the impact, right? When you sit in spirit and ask, what is mine to do? Think about the people in your world, your family, the people within your community, right? Because if you're making a positive disturbance in the places you've been given, that's your world. When you affirm someone through your word or through your art, through your dance, through your food, through your jokes, through just your light, just you being you, you're making an impact on the world. That vibration, because it's all vibration, it's all energy, right? That vibration of what you give to the people that are immediately around you in your sphere, whether it's within your work or it's in your family, whether it's with relationships that you have, that is going to have an impact on that person and those beings. And they get to take all those deposits of all that goodness that you gave them, and they get to give it to someone else within their world. And that person gets a deposit, and that person gets a deposit, that energy into their world, so on and so forth. So you have this compounded ripple effect. You're the molecule, you're the wave. Your world is significant, and your impact in the world is significant. You are called to be light because you are light. If you're here right now, your soul commission is to be you, completely you, authentically you, wholly you. You are called into this world for a specific reason, and it was to make an impact, a positive disturbance in the world that you have. That's how we make big differences in the bigger world, because our little world is a reflection of that big world. Let's think about it. If you were to sit back and think about the folks in your world, is there anybody in pain? Is there anybody suffering? Is there any place that you can clean up physically in your environment, your neighborhood? Is there someone who needs a champion or an advocate? Is there a child that needs to be loved on and empowered and seen? Is there someone that could use a meal? I think we got some work to do within our own world. And we're given this beautiful invitation to be a positive disturbance in the places we've been given. Spirit is inviting us to change our world, and they don't have repercussions, because let's be clear, the state of our world did not happen with one individual. The pain in our world did not happen with one individual. So if it didn't take one individual, it took collective action to have this repercussion, then it's going to take collective action in order for us to heal. And it's going to take us collectively doing our part within our world and in our spaces to make a really positive disturbance, to make things better. So this is our invitation. Spirit is asking us, just sit back, look in your world and ask, what is mine to do? What is mine to do? And Spirit will start to show you things, open up different ideas. You'll get like these pops and like, ooh, I wonder if I did this or created this or manifested this. Like, I really love to sing. I really love to dance. I really love, if it's bubbling up in your spirit to do something, I can guarantee somebody else is calling it. And you may never meet that one person. I'm going to just keep it funky with you. You might not meet that one person. You may. But if it's coming up in your spirit, it's because somebody else is calling for it. They need that. And your contribution is significant. Your light is needed. It's your world. It's your world that you impact. And so that will then have repercussions, as I said before, on the larger world. And we'll talk about 6 degrees of separation of people. What if we're 6 degrees of separation of events or conditions? So if we impact the people that are directly around us, we're impacting that which seems so much bigger and far away from us. Something to consider. And hopefully, like, we take this into spirit and feel like we can make an impact with the lives that we've been given. Because you're here for a specific reason. Maybe you know it. Maybe you're still discovering it. The good thing about it is, like, there's no deadline. There's no finish line. So until you know specifically what you're supposed to do, here's some advice. Do right. Just do right by people. Love on people. If you're loving people, I can guarantee you doing what you're supposed to. And then you get more detail about, oh, maybe I love people through art. Maybe I love people through jokes. Maybe I love people through poetry. Maybe I love people through, just love people, because God is love. So if we're loving people, we're definitely on the right track. Do right, love people. Everything else will come into place. And you'll understand further and deeper just what your soul commission is on this path right now during this time. Because we all came here during this specific time. We're here at this specific time, I believe, to be medicine for each other, to heal each other, to hold space for each other, to affirm each other. When we're deciding to show up like that, things change, right? You might know somebody in your own life where it's like, when this person enters a room, and I mean, this could be either way, right? I know I've definitely had encounters with individuals that could walk into a room and it's not a good thing. It's like, the whole energy shifted. Like, oh my, they got some funky vibes going on in their aura, right? People shift, they stop talking, right? Stop joking, and they get really stiff. But then there are also some people that when they walk in the room, you just feel affirmed. You feel hugged, you feel seen, right? So if you come into a situation that you're having to be in, and it's like, ooh, it doesn't feel loving at all in here. I do not feel the peace here. Or, ooh, there's not order. Guess who was supposed to show up to be that? It's you. You're given an invitation to be love. You're given an invitation to be peace. You're given an invitation to be the life-affirming force and energy, presence in a place where it seems like it's lacking. If it feels like it's lacking, you can recognize it. It's because you're here to restore it. That's it. Make a positive disturbance in the places you've been given. And your contribution is exactly what's needed. Don't self-doubt. Don't be like, oh, I could. Don't listen to imposter syndrome. Flick it off. Like, yeah, get back here. Your contribution is perfect. Right on to the right on. Please remember, You're whole. You are holy. You're worthy. You are love, and you're loved. Right on to the right on. Take care, y'all. Peace.